Hey, this is Dr. Berry. Today I want to talk to you about why you have a gallbladder. I had a young patient ask me this the other day, and I had never really thought about that before. And the more I got to thinking about it, the more I started researching it, the more I found some very interesting facts about the gallbladder that I think you'll be very interested in. Now, this may make our vegan and vegetarian brothers and sisters upset with us, but nonetheless, the truth must be told. Now, if this sounds interesting to you, please take 1 second and subscribe to this channel. You click the subscribe button, it's right down there somewhere, and hit the little bell right beside it so you get notification every time I have a bright idea just like this. Okay, so gallbladders, what is it? What does it do? Why do I have one? Very good question. So, first of all, only vertebrates, if you have a vertebral column or a spinal column, then that's the only way you can possibly have a gallbladder. But some vertebrates don't have a gallbladder. Some vertebrates do have a gallbladder, and it's very interesting who does and who doesn't. I think you're going to find this very, very interesting. And then I'll tell you why this is so interesting and why it actually tells us what kind of diet we should be eating. Sorry, vegans. Um, so let's break the vertebrates down into herbivores and carnivores. And I know there's lots of other categories in between, but we're going to stay black and white like this so that we can talk about this subject. Herbivores are vertebrate animals who eat plants. They don't ever eat animal matter. They don't ever eat fat. They just eat plants. That's an herbivore. Now, most herbivores do not have a gallbladder. They don't have one. They don't need one. And here's why. They graze, okay? Horses, cows, alpacas, llamas. Herbivores graze, and that means that they eat plant matter, and they eat plant matter constantly, okay? They don't eat 3 meals a day or 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day. They eat constantly. You've seen cattle and horses out in the pasture. What are they doing? They're eating. They eat all the time. That's what they do. And they have to do that to get enough calories from the vegetable, the grass, the plant matter that they're eating. They have to eat that constantly. Their gastrointestinal system is set up much differently than ours. They have different probiotic or microbiome in their gut. They have much different bacteria in their gut than we do because it has to break down the cellulose in the plant matter in order for them to digest it to be able to get enough calories to survive. So they graze all the time. They never eat fat. They never eat a big meal. They just constantly eat small meals all day long. They never fast. They never go for long without eating. And even at night, they'll still eat. They'll still graze. Those type animals don't have a gallbladder because they don't need it. Okay. Now let's talk about carnivores: lions, tigers, any kind of carnivore that eats meat, dogs. They have a gallbladder. And that's because of the following, or at least this is how we would describe them. They never graze, right? They never eat constantly unless your dog's trapped in the apartment and all he has to do is eat. Then he might eat constantly. But carnivores in the wild don't eat constantly. They just don't. They eat big meals and they might go for days of fasting, and then they'll make a kill and they'll have a big meal, or they'll find something already killed and then they'll eat as much as they can possibly hold. That's how carnivores do it. It's very common for them to fast, not by choice, but just because they do. They eat as much fat as they can get their paws and their fangs on, and they have a gallbladder. So let's talk about some gallbladder facts, and let's try to make sense of why horses and cows and llamas and alpacas don't have a gallbladder, but lions and tigers and you do have a gallbladder. So gallbladder, what it does is it stores and concentrates bile from your liver. That's what it does. And so when your gallbladder senses that there's fat in the gastrointestinal system, when you eat fats, then your gallbladder is told by a hormone called cholecystokinin to secrete some of the bile, because your body has to have that bile to digest that big fat load. And so if you're eating a little dribble of fat along all day, you might not need a gallbladder. Your liver could just make the amount it needed every so often to get by. But when you eat a big fat load, you've got to have bile secreted in mass to digest that fat. So Your body has a mechanism to store and concentrate bile. Your body does. And that means something about what you should eat. Your body has a method to tell the gallbladder, hey, secrete, we need some bile because we just ate some fat. That's a hardwired system in your body. Your Like I said, your gallbladder stores and concentrates. A lot of people don't realize it concentrates the bile, but it does. And so that means something as well. So here's the deal. Your body is made to eat fat, okay? It's made to eat big amounts of fat. It's made to eat saturated fat. And there's only one place that you can find saturated fat in large amounts, and that's in animal products, okay? There are no plant products that have saturated fats in that high of an amount. So, since human beings have a gallbladder, sorry to my vegetarian brothers and sisters, but we're probably supposed to eat meat. We're probably supposed to eat saturated fats in large amounts when we can find it. I think that's how we evolved. I think the gallbladder pretty much conclusively proves it. I hope that I stimulate some debate with this video. I really do, because I love debate. I love questions. If you have a question about this at all, please leave it in the comments below. I try to answer every question. You have a gallbladder, therefore you're supposed to eat saturated fat. Therefore, you're not supposed to graze all the time. You know how the experts there for a few years were telling us to eat 6 meals a day, eat snacks in between, because if you don't, your blood sugar will drop and your energy level will drop. That's probably bunk, okay? And the gallbladder tends to prove that that's bunk. We're supposed to eat discrete meals once a day, twice a day, once every other day. That's how we're supposed to eat, is eat large meals with fat. And you just can't do that if you're living on a vegan diet. You can't live that way. So if this video has interested you, then please help me to spread the message and help me make more videos like this in the future. Share this on your social media. Share it on Facebook, on Twitter. I love when I get new followers, so that I can help them have a healthier life as well. Also, I have a book out. It's on Amazon in paperback and Kindle called Lies My Doctor Told Me. If you haven't heard about that, check it out. If you buy one, you'll help me out a little bit. Also, I have a Patreon account. If you want to help me with as little as $1, you can just go to Patreon. I have a link down below, and you can help me out a little bit. Okay, this is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.